three.
Today we have a very influential person on our show. Please welcome Donald Zinkoff.
Hi guys, thanks for coming to see me talk, and thank you to Dr. Allman for having me on his show. Today I'm going to talk about my brand new book, Loser.
So Donald, what is your book about?
It's basically about the struggles that I go through in the first 6 years of my school life. I got made fun of because I was different, stupid, and all around awkward. The thing is, I didn't notice this, so I just went about my life as a lonely child.
Sounds like you had a very difficult time growing up.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. My parents were poor, and we really couldn't even afford a new car. We would call it clunker every time we got a new one.
So let's get to the actual book. I'm very interested and curious. What's the storyline?
Well, it starts out on my first day of school. I rushed out my door with my huge giraffe hat and went to school. When I got there, I met my new teacher, Miss Meeks. She hated me. She told me to put my 4-foot hat away in the cubby. On top of things, I throw up once a week because I had an upside-down valve in my stomach. None of the kids wanted to sit near me because of this.
I wouldn't want to sit near you either, no offense or anything. Anyways, it sounds like everything went pretty bad in first grade.
Pretty much except for one thing. I was on a soccer team named the Titans. I was the worst player on the team and everyone called me Wildfoot. I kicked the ball everywhere, in our goal, in their goal, out of bounds, and I even kicked my other teammates. They all hated me except for this one time. We were in the championship and needed one goal to win. Someone kicked it off my head and into the goal. Everyone celebrated and high-fived me. It was my only goal of the season.
That must have felt good after a horrible year. So what happened in second grade? Was it any better? Did you make any friends? Who was your new teacher?
It wasn't much better. I did get a new teacher. Her name was Miss Biswell. There were a few things about her. She hated children, she had a $100 chalkboard eraser, and she expected everyone to have good handwriting. Guess what? I had the worst handwriting of any student she ever had, and I threw up on her eraser. She kicked me out of class and I cried the whole way home.
Oh my gosh. What kind of teacher would do that? She is so bad and horrible. Like, wouldn't she be suspended for that? So did anything happen outside of school in second grade?
Well, we did go to the principal's office to talk to him about this, but she didn't get in trouble. And I did have a few things happen outside of school. I had a great memory with my dad. He was a mailman, and I thought he was the coolest job in the world. One day in the weekend, he let me deliver the mail with him. I wrote up 100 fake letters and gave them to random people. I felt like the coolest kid in the world. I made 2 important friends that day, an old woman and a young girl named Claudia. I'll explain what happened with them later on.
Why were you so interested in becoming a mailman?
I thought it was the greatest job in the world because my dad did it. Also, I thought it was cool because he had to deliver the mail no matter what the conditions.
Moving on, tell me a little about your experiences in third grade.
A few very significant things occurred in third grade. First off, my only friend, Angela Orwell, moved away to the city. The worst thing of all was that I had to get surgery. Remember that upside-down valve I had in my stomach?
Yeah.
Well, I was getting that fixed. I didn't so much mind the surgery. It was having to be out of school for 3 weeks. I was an impatient kid, and I drove my mom crazy in that time span.
What did you do to drive your mom crazy?
Well, for starters, I tried to sneak off to school multiple times. I eventually got so bored that I gave myself a test. I had to overcome my fear of the dark by staying in the basement for 30 minutes.
What big events happened in fourth grade?
Well, 4th grade was the worst year of this time span.
Why?
Well, I was a weird kid my whole life, but nobody ever noticed. They realized that I was a loser on field day in 4th grade. I got put on a team with all the fastest kids, and they all hated to lose. Perfect for me. I'm a loser. Well, I was, not anymore. The last event of the day was the team relay race. I was appointed to run anchor, and I lost the race for my whole team. They all hated me, and everyone laughed at me. From this point on, they saw me as awkward, stupid, and messy.
So they didn't see any good qualities in you?
Yeah, though there was one really good thing about 4th grade, and that was my teacher, Mr. Yalowitz. He let me sit in the front row because my last name ended in Z. He thought it was unfair that the A's and B's were always first.
I totally agree. Even though I am an A, I always felt bad for the X, Y's, and Z's.
5th grade was my last year in elementary school. Things went as normal. I rode my bike around a lot. I said hi to Claudia and the old woman. I got made of occasionally in school. And my life was pretty lonely.
That sounds fun. Not.
Life wasn't so good. One day the teacher passed out sheets that had a few questions on them. One of them was, who's your best friend? I didn't have one, but there was this one kid in front of me named Hector Binns. I'd been in his class every year of my schooling life, so I put him down on the sheet. Now that I think of it, he was a really weird kid. He collected earwax and tried to make a candle out of it when he was young. Our friendship didn't last long. It went about 4 weeks, and then it was over.
Anything else happen in 5th grade that you'd like to tell me about?
Yes. When field day came around, I ditched school. I spent the day at the old woman's house to save myself some embarrassment. We ate cookies and talked about our lives. I had a really great time from that day.
For ditching school and playing hockey, did you get in trouble with your parents or anything?
No, I was lucky. But when I came to school the next day, I found out that my whole team won gold medals without me. Felt pretty bad.
That stinks so much. What happened in 6th grade?
It was all going good until one snowy night. Claudia wandered outside and got lost. Or at least that's what they thought. All the police were looking for her, so I decided to help. I looked until 2 a.m. and I almost died. It turns out that the police were looking for me, and they eventually found me. Claudia was found within 30 minutes, and she was found inside her house. It took a few days for me to recover, but then I was okay. From that day on, all the kids respected me a lot more for what I did.
That was a very touching story, Carl. I'm glad that your troubles ended eventually. Is there anything else that you took out of this experience?
Yes, some people can be very cruel just because others are different. I also learned that being different isn't always bad. Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Thanks for being here. Bye.
Goodbye.
How many minutes was that? I totally agree. Even though I am an A, I always felt bad for the XYZs. Oh, this This dog's Rudy. Oh my God, this dog. Oh jeez, it's taking over.
It was all going good until one snowy night. The girl Claudia wandered outside and got lost. What are you doing? What are you doing, kid?
Gotta get it.
Who the hell are you?
Well, we don't have any food. What are you talking
You
about?
have any more Twinkies?
Go home. I don't have any Twinkies. Get out of here.